So I watched Zombieland yesterday, and it's kind of a not unique take on zombies, but it's a different one, I think, in that it's not just a straight like comedy, but it's not serious either. So I think that's a little bit different in terms of where zombie movies usually go. Usually it's like kind of a complete and nonsensical take on it, where it's uh they're all kind of stupid and they're doing like the most stupid thing or whatever, or it's you know like like the serious in depth, they're really scary zombies type of thing. But whenever I watch a zombie movie, I'm always uh, kind of skeptical of the main three things, and the first one is just like the sheer number. Like the numbers don't make sense in my mind, which is one, it's like to get your guy. So like if you play a siege or whatever, like if you die, you're like, at least I got my guy. If you got one kill in that round, because that's all you like. If you get your guy and everyone else gets their guy, there's no more guys. And that's the same with zombie movies. Like if everyone gets, so if there's one person and they see a zombie, I don't know how to. This one's gonna be green. They see the zombie. Like if he gets him, and then this guy later turns into a zombie, there's a net of zero new zombies. So, like, as long as you get one, which I know, like, a lot of people don't get one, but if you're getting one, there is no spread of the disease. So it's very easy in my mind to contain this if everyone gets their zombie. Now, this one's kind of the one that I care about the least because I mean, there's hordes of zombies and things like that that allow for, you know, maybe not as easy to get one. But in every zombie movie, they're not just getting one, which they're like one of the few survivors. But I don't know, like, I would like to know the number of zombies Rick Grimes got. Because Rick Grimes and his crew would take out like hundreds of zombies at times, especially in the prison where they would just line them up on the walls. The prison scene in The Walking Dead, where the zombies would just come to the end of the prison and they would just stand here, and then someone with a spear would just come in and take them all out. They would just take all the zombies out with a spear, and it's zombie farming at this point. So like, how many of these type of people, like Carl's just a kid, but Carl got zombies too. He got more than just his guy. Rick Grimes got more than his guy. Um, they all got more than their guys. So how likely is it that one person didn't get at least one zombie? Which obviously there's kids and older people and whatever. So there's more susceptible people to being infected by zombies. But then in that aspect, their zombies should be weaker, I think, in the grand scheme of things. And especially when you, like, it's fine to be like, oh, well, there's hordes of zombies, but there's also like hordes of people and like armies. Like, an army should be able to take out, thousands of zombies. Um, and that's one of the things I don't really get, is how the armies and the world government just fails like overnight. Um, like how are the how are the get your guy mechanics not working in the army and things like that. Um, because it seems very easy that they could get their guy, especially um, the fact that usually the zombies aren't using weapons or anything like that. They're just chasing. Like, how much really is a zombie different from a a guy that doesn't have a gun when you have a gun and that kind of aspect. Um, but then the next one that I don't really get how it works is the biomechanics of the zombie. Because zombies eat other people who turn into zombies. And, I think it depends on what variation of zombie it is. But if the zombie's weak point is their brain, but they eat brains, how does that work? How is a zombie that got its brains eaten working? If it's if it needs this brain to control their muscles and things like that. That's how the body works. And then also other like if someone gets their leg or Achilles like eaten or they tear an ACL, they get a non-contact ACL injury. How is that zombie gonna walk? Because they don't heal. How does that turn into? How does the person A with a eaten Achilles turn into a zombie with full mobility? Um, so that going along with the get your guy, the zombies are also getting their guy. So I don't know how there are so many like fully functioning zombies when the zombies are also taking out people. And then there's always these hordes of larger, you know, zombies that all are, moving with normal gaits or whatever. When they had to be a zombie, or they had to get attacked by a zombie to get turned into a zombie for the most part. And that one kind of leads into my last point, which I don't really get the pathogen aspects of the zombie hordes. Because in some, it's just if you die, you have like the infection. So it's not even the zombie bite. Like in The Walking Dead, I'm pretty sure it's if you die, you turn into a zombie. Not even if you get bitten or anything. If you happen to die, you're like having an infection, and once you die, the zombie effects take over. But some, it's just if you get bitten. And then some, I think it might be if you like, it's like a bloodborne pathogen. I think this is kind of the most niche one. No one's really going to this aspect of it. But if it is bitten, why isn't it a bloodborne pathogen? What's being transferred here that like flying around on all the zombie blood isn't being transmitted to you? That's something that I don't get. Like when Rick Grimes or whatever or Woody Harrelson in Zombieland is killing all the zombies, why is he not more scared of the zombie blood that's getting all over him? And then also, like, why are every time there's a zombie movie, there's a plane going down. why are there planes going down? Why are people dying in this plane? You know, I'd never understand that. Is if it's being transferred at a rate that you can't notice it, or I think that's like a unexplained part that no one ever wants to elaborate on why the spread is so quickly. Because traditionally when a virus spreads quickly, it usually has like a low mortality rate, because you know diseases are bad, but they're caused by like a purpose, and that purpose being whatever it is, or it's a parasite, or a virus or a bacteria, it still wants to live. Like, its goal isn't just to just die immediately and have a host be dead, which maybe that's like the most grounded principle in the zombie, in that it keeps them alive, the host alive forever, presumably. Um, so maybe that part makes sense, but it's still the zombies still, like, I'm not sure how they work. Like, again, going back to the biomechanics of it, is how are they gaining energy, um, like after like 2 months, of the zombie, and then there's like no more humans. How are they just walking around doing whatever they want? When there's all of them have been taken up. Like, how does that work? Because then, I mean, like, 2 months just isn't a long time. On a virus level it is, but from an evolution standpoint of this virus adapting, like, it doesn't make sense to me in my mind, in that aspect of it. But if they're like immortal, that goes back to like the biomechanics of how is the energy, where's the energy coming from? Um, from food? Are they eating like sandwiches in secret? Uh, but those three principles have kind of bothered me always in zombie movies, and I can never really get behind it, because zombie movies are like the closest to science fiction, rather than like, I don't know what Frankenstein and Dracula and what would be, but whatever that is, like folklore. Um, but I've never understood like how you can, like, shows never justifies a zombie apocalypse um, well enough in my mind that it can be you know that great of a movie. Um, but I haven't watched a lot of zombie movies, so maybe I'm just uh, inexperienced and not a real zombie head. But yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know, I watched that movie and thought it made me reminded of the thoughts I have on zombie movies, so I just thought I'd put together a video, and just for the fun of it. So if you watched this far, thank you. Uncle underscore grandpa on Letterboxd in the top right here. Uh, if you want to see what I'm watching. But yeah, thanks.